stress work or ineffective content, right? So we have looked at various techniques like value analysis, quality function deployment, process research, and we looked at marketing issues, and then planning and control, right? So now coming to uh, work study. So work study is supposed to be the most important tool in any industry to improve productivity. So actually, the Pitamaha for work study is none other than our great hero, Frederick Winslow Taylor. So Frederick Winslow Taylor invented this technique to improve a given process. So it is because it is a study of work in a shop floor. They simply said work study. Basically, work study consists of method study and work measurement, and they are there to study human work in all its contexts, and which lead to systematically the investigation of all the factors which affect the efficiency and economy of information being reviewed, right, in order to effect improvement. So here we are interested in both increasing the efficiency and effectiveness, right? So here these are both are important for us. Efficiency and economy. uh, That means we should able to do it in a cheaper way and effectiveness. So how, like here. So these are the some of the points. Applying easier. That means you should able to implement easily. So method study is the systematic recording and critical examination of existing and proposed ways of doing work as a means of developing and applying easier and more effective methods and reducing costs. So reducing costs is also a prime factor. So you are saying easier, more effective, and reducing. So sometimes effective methods may be costly. So, but at the same time, so our goal is see to improve productivity. That means how to produce more with less. That is the overall idea of, for example, uh, with simple automation, probably you can bring in lot of productivity. Like for example, as someone who is walking and someone who is cycling, right? So sometimes the addition of a tool or equipment, if it is increasing the productivity of a worker, you should use it. And where the overall cost should come down, right? Say, for example, you take the invention of cotton ginning machine. So who invented cotton ginning machine? Hmm? We discussed about this guy. Huh?
Eli Whitney.
Huh? Who is that? Who invented cotton ginning machine? Kids, unless you
Sir,
participate,
hello. I got network connectivity. What is the question, sir?
who invented cotton ginning machine?
Uh, Elevate,
Eli Whitney.
elevate. Oh,
Eli Whitney invented. What is the impact on the society? What is its impact on the society because of cotton ginning machine?
Workers were reduced, like, I mean, social is
Huh?
something. Slavery is something related.
Ah, it has it led to abolishment of slavery because prior to the invention of cotton ginning machine, processing cotton is a labor intensive problem. So when you need lot of labor, what they did, these Americans, they went to African continent, chained those Africans, brought them as slaves. All sorts of nonsense they have done it. But the moment with the invention of cotton ginning machine, because it has increased the productivity of cotton processing by orders of magnitude. What a single slave could process a whole day for 12 hours a day, a single machine could do it in 1 hour. That means a single machine is equivalent to 12 or 10 slaves. Right? So what happened? Suddenly, the demand for slave have come down, and and simultaneously there is a kind of social awareness that we should not end up using of fellow human beings for slavery. So sometimes technology can help in for the betterment of the society, particularly this productivity. See, by simple invention, in an invention like cotton ginning machine has improved the cotton processing by orders of magnitude. Similarly, invention of cycle, invention of say telegraph, invention of telephone, invention of you know IC engine, all these electric motor, they have now with the invention of internet, the productivity of the society as such it has increased like anything, right? Say, for example, if you take what is the latest innovation from India with regard to internet?
Beam UPI.
Huh? Huh? Who said that?
Mahendra.
Mahendra. So Beam UPI, I think it is going to change the economic scenario of what is happening in India. Like, see, with Beam UPI, with a simple QR code, you are able to transact even 1 rupee or 2 rupees. Small changes. And most of you are students are using this UPI. UPI is uniquely an Indian solution to online payment system. So what is the what it is like a great example for what is so called democratization of technology. Democratization of technology. Even a simple rickshaw puller can use this UPI to transact money. Even beggars, somebody is joking. Beggars are moving with the phone pay or some Google Pay QR code to beggar, right? So, see, that is the beauty of technology. So, somebody said, "Na, what communism could not achieve in Russia, the same thing was achieved through technology in US." Because technology can make everybody as a winner. right? So you are see, as somebody like there is a famous book by Milton Thomas Friedman, the Earth is flat. So what he means by it is internet has enabled either big or small. Now it doesn't matter. As long as you have a website, you can compete with anybody. Bigness is no more an advantage. So technology can change, right? It can make things ulta pulta. One of the other greatest invention in recent times is mobile phone. It has become now Swiss Army knife, right from payments to everything. It has become a one-stop solution for every one of your needs, right from checking your BP, sugar, whatnot, even creating funny videos, right? So, so here, anyway, work measurement is the application of technique designed to establish the time for a qualified worker to carry out a specified job at a defined level of performance. So these three things are important in the work measurement. First of all, it is not like you just measure just like that. You have to find out whether the worker whom you are timing it is he qualified to do that? Whether he is trained on that job for a sufficient amount of time for a specified job, right? And at a defined level of performance. It's like whether he is slow or he is fast or he is medium, right? So work measurement. This is is one of the like method study. So work study consists of method study and work measurement and method. So normally the rule by default the rule is first of all you will be conducting method study for a process, and then after removing all the ineffective or excess work in that process, then it, then you time it, because you don't directly jump to work measurement to measure the time of completing a job, because unless you have ensured that all the ineffective work or any excess work content you have removed, right? So this work study is it consists of two major techniques, that is method study and work measurement, whereas method study to is the primary goal is to reduce ineffective movements, whereas work measurement is about removing or reducing or minimizing ineffective time. So what we mean by ineffective time means it is the time during which no value addition is happening, like waiting for a process, storage, delays, all these are ineffective times. Similarly, ineffective movement means it is those
Hello.
movements where you're not adding any value. Like for example, transportation, inspection. These are all movements in during which no value addition is happening. Similarly, in ineffective time, ineffective movement can be like sometimes you try to simplify easier ones, right? So here, that is about. So what is the now? Let us go into details of method study. So what is this? Uh, like there is a like so you what are the steps followed in method study is select the job to be studied, right? So again you have to select the job based on certain considerations. What are the considerations that you take to select the job for the method study? That is given here. So factors to be considered for selection of job to conduct method study. That is number one is economic considerations. Economic consideration means like economic consideration can be like bottlenecks, right? If you recall your production management chapter, particularly you have seen like in the moving assembly line mass production systems, you have a what you call a series of workstations, right? Say, let us say like this workstation, it is of 45 seconds. This is 50, then another is 42. Say this is 43. Suppose you have workstations times like this. So what is the rate of output of this particular assembly line?
50.
Huh?
50.
50, because like you get 1 unit for every 50 seconds, right? So here, what is the bottleneck means? This is the bottleneck. So work study, method study can help us to, by simplifying this particular bottleneck operation, we will explore whether we can bring it to say 45. Thereby, you can have products coming at the rate of one for every 45 seconds per unit, 45 seconds per unit, right? So this is what we mean by bottlenecks. So economic consideration. So if you can, using method study, you try to improve or make it easier so that things can be done a bit faster. And then movement of materials over long distances. So like can we see, because as I said now, see, transport and inspection are one of the non-value add activities. If you can minimize transport within a factory, like in the production management also, one while discussing about the layouts of say functional layout or process layout, one of the criteria for improving layout is how to minimize transport, how to minimize the travel of either worker or materials, right? So we have used a tool called, what tool we have used to minimize transportation in functional layout?
Minimizing number of trips to a workstation.
Now, what is the tool? We have used a tool called travel chart, right?
Yes, sir.
So, to, to how to reduce the total number of trips? See, in fact, like you can use the same travel chart for our NIT Warangal what do you call Warangal NIT Warangal's plan to come up with a proposed what do you call layout which will minimize the total travel of every student, average travel of every student. So for that you have to do like use the travel chart to find out like what is the frequency of trips a typical student will make per day between different departments and services. So you can take up that as a study and come with a theoretical layout which will totally minimize the travel of a student.
Sir, one
Right?
doubt.
Similarly, like you can use the similar study for improving the layout of a library. Like people go to library to get a book. So sometimes you get frustrated, like you have to go a long distance to get a book. So depending on the demand pattern of various subject books, in fact, a library layout can be improved. Right? So there are so many applications like distribution of food in a hospital, how to optimize. So these are all. So because why transportation is a non-value added activity. It is like a necessary evil. It is necessary, but it is evil. How to reduce that? Because it is a non-value added activity. Non-value added activity means which doesn't add any value. Whereas operations are the value added activity. So here, then another consideration we can have is another economic consideration is operations involving repetitive work. So if you are repeating a particular job, say 10,000 times per day, then there is a what do you call incentive for you to take up method study. Say, for example, uh, see, like, has anyone of you seen right now in the History Channel every day, 8 to 9, there is a very beautiful program is coming in the not History Channel, Sony BBC. It is Mega Marine Machines. Has anyone of you follows Sony BBC channel? Sir, you see, even if you till now you have not seen it, just definitely see that those Mega Marine Machines program. So there is a one episode on cruise liner. That cruise liner is its name is Harmony of Seas. So in that he was giving a hint about how to apply method study to improve or hasten up bed changing of every room. Like for example, that Harmony of Seas has around 2,800 rooms in that ship, in that cruise liner. This ship has to be turned around in say less than 24 hours because see a ship has to be always in the sea doing some productive job. So if it is in a harbor for a longer duration, that means you are not using productively that ship. So what they have worked out is that per room the cleaner should not use more than 14 minutes if they have to if they have to quickly turn around the waiting time of each ship at a given harbor. For each room, they should clean the toilets, they have to change the bed sheets, everything, adjust the pillow covers, everything. That has to be over in per room in 14 minutes. So how they did? They have used only method study and work study, method study and work measurement. How to quickly do that? See, in most of the service operations, this is very, very important. So they have found that one of the major bottlenecks when the when a cruise liner comes to for its weekly turnaround, like when those 2,800 rooms have to be cleaned, how many teams are needed for each floor? And they have worked out that 14 minutes is only the time They can allocate to each room to change all the things, remove all the waste, clean the toilets, adjust the bed sheets, clean the what do you call windows, all right, and sanitize all the items, right? Because you again in these COVID times, sanitizing is very important now. So operations involving repeated work, normally like every room, it is, you have to change the bed sheet and then clean the toilets, everything, right? So within 24 hours, you should do complete this whole job. So you have to plan it. So now, so that means to select a job for method study, Siemens, Mega, uh-huh. But anyway, what I meant to say is that like this, this is wherever there are a lot of repetitive work, if you can shave off 2 minutes or 3 minutes per operation, per cycle, you end up having savings hours of time, right? So that should be so, because when you select a particular method for conducting method study, naturally methods to conduct method study, it involves some expenditure, because you have to hire a consultant, you have to you have to aside certain workers for experimentation, just like our FW Taylor has asked that Dutch worker now, right, to experiment on that guy to find out what is the optimal weight a worker can lift per day, right? So like that, so it involves some kind of expenditure, some study, some time. So you know, in industrial engineering, we have to always bother about this particular aspect, payback time, or in simple terms, it also sometimes called as ROI. ROI means return on investment. So when you are putting so much effort, what is the returns you are getting, right? When you are conducting a method study, you have spent some money. How quickly I can recover in terms of savings? What is the realization of savings from that study? How quickly, whether you recover that investment in within 6 months or 2 months or 2 years, but you should have an idea, right? So you don't take up any method for works, method study, any work, any process for take up as method study. Then another cons consider technical considerations is kill example. Like say for example, like suppose you want to um, come up with an automatic loading of ceramic tiles onto a kiln. You know, now they fire the see whatever vitrified tiles or whatever tiles that you see on the floors nowadays, that that have to be fired now. So just like bricks have to be fired. Suppose you want to increase the dead time of reduce the dead time of kiln by loading and unloading it quickly. Naturally, like you should also think about whether your loading and unloading process should not disturb the properties of the tile, right? So any ceramic tile, while you are loading and unloading, suppose it accidentally bends the tile and you fire it, that change in shape may not be liked by the customer. The whole process of coming with a loading and unloading mechanism is lost, because ultimately if the quality is not proper, then the whole so you should not. So your technical consideration, that means see that whatever method that you are coming up, it should not ultimately affect the quality of the process, quality of the output. Similarly, like for example, the technical considerations. Suppose if you have, like, you take uh, normally they say na, like to improve speed of cutting, they say like you increase the speed and the depth of cut. But if you increase the depth of cut, na, what happens is, first of all, the life of the cutting tool comes down because of increased load, and as simultaneously the surface finish on the job may not be good. You may be able to do it quickly. You may be able to complete the work quickly by increasing the speed and depth of cut or increasing the feed also. But what is the use if the surface finish of the component is not good? So technical consideration means, so here what we mean by this is, whatever method that you are recommending, it should be in consultation with the technical advisor of that particular process. For example, if a kiln, in the case of kiln, like you ask the opinion of the ceramic engineer, ceramics. In the case of machine tool, like you ask the production engineer whether this increased fields and depth of cut will it affect the quality of the component. If it is affecting the quality for the worse, then don't go for that recommended high speeds and depth of cut. Or you change the machine tool from, say, from Punjab lathe to a, a CNC machine, or a better, more robust machine tool, right? So similarly, now coming to human considered reactions means, uh, see, as I told you, like you have to check up whether workers are ready to accept your improved methods. There is a lot of apprehension. There will be a lot of apprehension about these new tools or techniques, because they think that this work study or method study is a tool to exploit them. So if the workers are reluctant to accept your new method, don't go ahead. So first of all, whenever you take a method study, take workers into confidence. If you unilaterally do it now, then if the workers doesn't appreciate your new improved method, then the whole effort goes to waste. See, like most of the workers, they don't like any change in their work methods. So you have to give some kind of financial incentive or to show that this new method will reduce their burden, travel burden, and this new method is a very simplified one which reduce their back pain. So some kind of incentive should be there for the worker to accept your new method, even though that new method may be very good, but workers themselves should feel that this is good. See, sometimes unions are so tough, you can't do anything. You know, like for example, in Bombay, there used to be one a terrible, strong union leader by name Datta Samant. Datta Samant brings a lot of shivers to the most of the managements in Bombay textile companies. So in most of them, in those textile companies, you say like I will implement method study. People say enough is enough. We don't want to accept any change in our methods. In fact, like industrial engineers or work study engineers are hated in those textile companies, and they are hated so much. It seems when during night shift, if power goes off, a worker can throw a spanner in the direction of that engineer. So it seems when the fire when the power goes off during night shift, it seems most of the engineers will hide under a table. That is the kind of antagonism exists. Antagonism exists between engineers and workers sometimes. If the labor relations are not conducive. So this is what, so human reaction. So for selecting a job, you have to take into consideration economic, technical, and human considerations. Then what is the second step? Once you have selected a job, then record all the relevant facts about the method by direct observation. So again, so that means first of all, understand the process. So you record meticulously what is happening in the existing method. And for that, record it again. Fortunately, people have invented various recording tools to record the relevant facts of the present study. So what are those? What are those tools? These are recording tools like charge indicating process sequence, that is outline process chart, flow process chart, band type, material type, equipment type, right? See, for example, I was telling about na, like in any factory environment, all these three three entities will be moving around to complete a job. It may be man type, a worker carrying a work, work in process inventory, or a material type, material movement between different departments. Particularly, this is an issue in a functional layout or a process layout, right? Anyway, this issue it doesn't arise in a mass production system, but this is an issue in batch as well as job order, because in batch and job order you will be using method study. It is used even in business. I told you know just now, like you can increase the turn, like improve the quality of service in a banking while giving delivering cash, right? So there used to be in between teller machines where you, like ATM. You see, ATM is a beautiful invention. Like now, see, almost previously when I joined in 1987, almost once in a week I used to go to bank to withdraw some money for my personal expenditure. Now I am going to the bank only once in a 6 months or something like that. In fact, I never see the bank manager almost, because most of it my transactions are happening on through internet banking now. So see, this method study can be useful. Just now I told you, like how to reduce the uh, like services. What kind of, how you improve the services for a customer. Like for example, now most of the vendors, like you take LG, Samsung, or anybody, they have come up with so-called toll-free numbers. How to improve the service to the customer? Like you might have bought that refrigerator from a Amazon, but when it comes to service is given by a toll-free number. So whether like how many service stations have to build up in a bank business, like tourism, you know, to improve like the, like if you take tourism, they also use this method study na, how to check, improve the check-in process, check-out process, how to give immediately the bill, how to see sometimes you know the in hotel industry. particularly in hotel industry, they try to improve the services during the checkout process, check-in process, how to simplify, right? So there are a lot of applications for method study. Just now I gave the example of that they have found that in every for every room they should not take more than 14 minutes to clean their room. If at all, like they have to improve the turnaround time of a cruise liner halting for its weekly schedule. Okay. So anyway, like you have various outline process chart, like you have man type, material type, equipment type, and 200 process chart. Charts using time scale, like multiple uh, activity chart, SIMO chart, right? And then diagrams indicating movement, like flow diagram, string diagram, cycle graph, chronocycle graph, and travel chart. So that means depending on the situation, you have to use the appropriate recording tool. Suppose you want to reduce the total movement of workers, right? Say, or you want to reduce the total time of a student. It may be a student in library, student in campus. You have to use a flow process chart. Suppose if it is a material type now, like you use a flow process chart of material type. If you are looking at what is the average distance that a component or a subassembly or a product is moving on the shop floor to complete its journey before it reaches the final finishing point. Like for example, like this material type of flow process chart is they have used to reduce the total time a, a bus, like you know this best best is the company which manages the uh, trans um, city transport of Bombay. Bombay Electric Supply and Transport. That is the full form of this. So best is like most of these bus transport in they also have this nuisance of how to reduce the total maintenance time, and say they may have a weekly or monthly maintenance schedules. Per weekly, they may check the lubricating oils and other things. In a monthly schedule, they may check bearings or any gasket is worn out. So, for example, in weekly schedule, how to reduce their weekly maintenance time? Say, for example, if they are taking 4 hours right now to do weekly maintenance of every bus, if you can reduce it to 3 hours, probably you can in that text, whatever the saving like you have made in terms of 1 hour for every bus, that means that one extra hour is now available for every bus to do some productive job. So there you may be using material type of flow process chart to note down how that particular engine is being overhauled, that particular bus is overhauled, right? So equipment type or equipment type means like how to improve the utilization of say concrete mixture, which is say being used in multiple project locations, right? Say for example, Nagarjuna Construction Group, they may have various locations where they may have taken up construction. So they have only single concrete mixture. How to reduce its travel time and improve its availability. So depending on what, so similarly like multiple activity chart, this is used when you have a single worker trying to manage to run two, three machines simultaneously. Schema chart is also in the same go. So then normally flow diagrams indicating movement. Say for example, the flow diagram is normally used with in conjunction with any of these flow process charts. So anyway, string diagram is like that. So anyway, we will come to we will discuss these things in a bit in detail, right? So here and here, what we do is we use certain symbols here to classify the all the activities. See, whereas here in these charts we note down the activities, but again each activity has to be classified into whether it is a value added process or a non-value added process, or like fundamentally what work study engineers have done is they have come up with what is so called classifying the whatever the activities that you have noted down on the flow process chart into these categories, that is operation, inspection, storage, transport and billing. So out of this, which is a value added operation?
Operation.
Huh?
Operation.
Operation, right? Because inspection is a non-value added activity. See, if you can eliminate the inspection, that is good now. As somebody has joked, if all the people are very, very disciplined, there is no need for having a police station or police force, home department. Similarly, if all the workers are very sincere, then there is no need for inspection operation. In fact, like advanced automobile uh, company like Toyota, they have totally eliminated the inspection. They believe their workers, and in fact, workers are also they are very sincere to their work. So they have totally eliminated third-party inspection. There is no third-party inspection. The inspection will be done by the worker himself, and if he is not satisfied about his work, he will not send it to the next station. Okay, so third-party inspection you can like it is a non-value added activity. Then storage. See, it is something like even like somebody said like like if you are very friendly with your neighbors, there is no need for army also. Army is also like a necessary evil. Since you suspect your neighbor, you had to maintain your army, right? So similarly, like here storage is also is not a is also a very non-value. Like if you are if you have designed your production system in a perfect manner, even intermediate storage is also not necessary. Just like in moving assembly line. In moving assembly line, there is no storage nor delay because every workstation works in a synchronized way. And anyway, in mass production system, even transport is minimized by automatically transferring from one workstation to another workstation. But only the problem is most of the mass production systems are rigid in they are not there is no flexibility. All right. So wherever you need flexibility, then you have to go for process layout or functional layout. So in that kind of situation, you have to minimize the occurrence of these activities like inspection, storage, transport, and delay. All right. So here, what we do here is, so you take an example like this uh, outline process chart, which we have listed. So this is the example of a electric motor, manufacture of electric motor. So covers, rotor, stator, body. So this is how like a, so in this outline process chart, you see why we, as the name indicates, na outline, it gives an outline of a particular like assembly of a electric motor. So what is happening? See, the main moving assembly line is, there is one moving assembly line for body, stator, rotor, and covers. Right? So what is happening? Like to simplify the outline process, he is using only operation symbol and inspection symbol only. He is using only these two. He is representing only these two activities. Transport. See, now his botheration is like to get a bird's eye view of how the assembly of a electric motor is happening. So you have body, main body. So turn base, turn bore, turn ends, inspection, drill, inspection, assemble. All right. So similarly, like stator, wind inspection, varnish, inspection. Then you have rotor, again die cast, inspect, assemble the fan, balance, because rotor, like you have to balance them, no? So that you to minimize the bearings vibrations, and then inspection. Then you have covers, like the you have to put them in an enclosure, no? Stator and rotor. So those covers, turn inspection, drill inspection. So here you are doing finally the assemble, right? When all of them join together, and here you take around 15 minutes to assemble it, and finally you take 2 minutes whether it the, so this is gives, so the outline process chart will give a general outline of how a particular product is being manufactured.
Sir,
So what
hello.
you do is, huh,
Sir, there are two numbers, no, sir. Like one is inside the shape and one is outside the shape. Which is the time for assembly and other one is what?
like you see here he will do sub assembly, right?
Okay.
Finally, so one part is coming from outside, so
Okay.
he will, then he will do final assembly here.
I mean, which number is indicating the time of the process?
Ah, yes, yes.
Like
Outside
some,
one, sir.
Outside one indicates the meters, how much you travel.
Okay, sir. I mean, outside one is distance and inside one is time.
Wait. No, 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 no. This could be, it is mostly turn means, I think he is indicating how many turn operations are there in the total assembly. How many inspection operations are there in the total assembly? For example, see, he is using one, two, three. These three turn operations are being are happening on the body, and then again he is using another turn where, yeah, he
Okay,
has,
sir. Understood. Understood.
uh,
Inside one is number of times the operation is done, and
uh,
outside one is time for each operation.
time for each operation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we mean to say, like, so it gives a bird's eye view of a how, like, now what happens is, suppose you feel that I can improve the stator process, overall process. Then what you do is, for stator sub-assembly, you can use a flow process chart. because that goes into depth of the process. Say, for example, like this, like if you take here, like some material handling, manufacturing of a some bolt, some item. So here, like you can see that in flow process chart, what is happening is like he is using all the five symbols because he is now going into the depth of the problem, right? So here you can this is the format that is used in the flow process chart. So you can see that there is a proposed method and then existing method, right? So this is how like you represent. So flow process chart is a one which goes into the depth of the problem so that to improve. So here in flow process chart, what we do is we take uh, the depth of the problem. So here, see he says like moving raw materials, right? So this is a transport. Inspect. So it is an inspection. So he uses square, right? So again, move by some forklift. So again, transport. So here you can see that only very few operations are there: setup and print, right? So like that. So you classify all the. So here you can see like original method. This is the flow diagram, right? Original method is like this, and the improved method is so much improvement in the reduction in the travel of the product. So here it is coming entrant here, it is straight away going and coming back here. Whereas here you can see in the original method there are certain uh, mm, uh, what you call diversions as well as again some internal loops. So by proposed method, they could reduce the total travel of the given component by orders of magnitude. Right? So, so here that is how like you use flow diagram. So normally flow diagram and flow process chart they go together. Whereas flow flow process chart will meticulously record on the step-by-step activity of each process, and then flow diagram gives a pictorial view of the whole same process. So seeing this picture, you yourself can see that there is a lot of improvement in the overall reduction in the travel of the given part. Okay, so there are no backtracking like here. Like here you we see that after here again it is coming back to the first station, which is not there in the improved method. So like this, you can use these, and then this is the multiple activity chart, right? So here, a single worker trying to manage three machines. So how to improve it, right? So there is a in between some idleness by shuffling the loading and unloading of these three machines, like machines and operator, you can improve the utilization of the both machines as well as the operator, right? So how to improve the utilization? So that multiple activity chart will help us in that way. And then we have, see, then we will move to the third step of method study. I think we will take up this third step, that is examine stage, in our tomorrow's class. Okay. So with this, at this moment of time, you have any questions? I can clear it. Otherwise, we will.
Sir, one doubt.
Yeah.
Uh, it is for regarding already well established plant. Like
Uh,
there is it is mass production layout, and it can be improved. Productivity can be improved by changing the layout. It
yes.
can be improved by a definite amount, like good amount. But
Hmm.
the problem is that it needs big modifications, like
Hmm.
changing the positions of various plants and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But what it is some serious work. It itself requires some amount of time, like 1 day.
Time and money.
Yeah, money and time. Money is of course it requires great deal of time, like 1 day or 2 day. Whole
Yes,
production needs to be stopped for 1 day.
yes. So
So
that's
there will be
why,
productivity loss in that time also, no sir. Like
yes,
for
yes, yes.
example,
That,
changing this will reduce the takt time by like 10 seconds maybe, and
hmm.
it require in that way
Hmm.
how to say it, like
No, no, no. See, that's why they do cost benefit analysis. What is the cost to you take up if you take up this revision of the method? See, you can't recommend just like that. Now you have to do some experiments, just like Taylor did on that Dutch worker. Sometimes, see me, you may have to do set aside certain people to conduct your experiments, to try different alternative methods. So there is a cost to it. Then you have to balance that against the likely savings that you are likely to get from that. So that is what we call it as payback period method. That means if you have invested say 1 lakh on this to study the existing process in terms of materials, uh, consultant fee, all these things, and if you are able to save say 50,000 per year, that means your payback period is two years. That means to recover your 1 lakh investment to improve the method, you are getting back that money after 2 years completely. It is taking 2 years to get back your money. Are you getting it?
yes sir.
So you have to do that cost benefit analysis. Sometimes costs are so high that you can't do anything. Just like Microsoft has come up with a very improved keyboard. Okay, like it has come up with a very ergonomically designed keyboard, computer keyboard, but it is not able to implement because people are so much habituated to using QWERTY layout, so nobody is now using it. Whereas the existing QWERTY keyboard was designed based on the mechanical typewriter, but now mechanical typewriter is now obsolete. Most of them are using only electronic keyboard. So Microsoft has come up with a very improved, ergonomically improved keyboard, but still they are not able to implement because people are reluctant to switch out to the improved keyboard
Yes sir,
because
like
they
the
are
workers,
habituated to this.
like workers habituated to old methods.
Ah, so it is sometimes you can't do anything, you know. So that's why we said like when you want to take up method study, you have to take economic considerations, technical considerations, as well as human. Finally, if the humans are not ready, then don't take up any study. First of all, convince the guys, then take up the study. Okay?
Okay sir.
Ah,
Thank
yeah.
you.